is it going to be sacrilege for me to say that I didn't hate this? Like, even seeing all the negative reviews that came out beforehand, and all the scores it was getting, and all this other stuff, like, I was expecting bottom of the barrel. I was expecting something as bad as next Karate Kid. But, honestly, no. This one's better than 4 and 3. However, that is a pretty low bar to clear, and it's nowhere close to being on a level of 1, 2, or Cobra Kai. So, I don't know. But I can tell you that I don't regret watching it. It has some moments of fun, and watching it in a theater, it was a decent experience. So, yeah, I know, this is going to be a bit of a weird one because I went in expecting to absolutely hate this thing. But I came out the other side saying, it's fine. Like, obviously, as far as Karate Kid movies go, it is bad. But as a movie by itself, at best, it's mediocre. It's not, like, terrible, horrible, cringy trash. Like, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. So, if this is something that's going to make you upset, well, there's the door. Out you go. As for everyone else who actually has an open mind, let's talk about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Not a good movie. Absolutely not a good movie. But, at the same time, it's not trash. I'll do my best to explain. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Station, which is your fan thing, everything animation, including TV and movies. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome to the long overdue and long awaited finale of Kah-Rah-Tay May-ish. Welcome to my long awaited, spoiler free, 2 weeks late review of Karate Kid Legends. Now, this review is late because I've just been so busy with other stuff going on lately, not to mention tomorrow is Sci-Fi Valley Con, so, you know, I gotta get ready for that vlog. But, I've had a lot of stuff going on, and I haven't really had time to get to the theater to see this movie. However, as you can see, I am at a friend's house again, and this friend just happens to live right down the road from the Clearfield Ritz Theater. So, on the very last day it was playing, last night, I finally went to go and see this movie for myself. And I had a decent time. Like, it's not a good movie, and there were a lot of problems, but it was harmless enough. I was entertained at the very least. I wasn't bored or anything. Okay, enough of my rambling. Let's get straight into the review now, shall we? Let me pull up the tablet here. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Here is my spoiler-free written review for Karate Kid Legends. I hope you enjoy. I know that I am at least 2 weeks late on this one, and I apologize. There was so much stuff going on, and I couldn't get to a theater beforehand. Thankfully, last night, on the final night it was playing at the Clearfield Ritz Theater before it was rotated out for the How to Train Your Dragon remake, I finally got to see it. And honestly, I actually didn't hate it. Now, don't misquote me here, it's not a good movie. Not even close to being a good movie. It's clearly a cash grab that resulted in Cobra Kai's final season getting rushed. I do hate Sony for that. And it's another pretty weak sequel in the franchise overall, and it's an obvious cash grab on the whole legacy sequel trend that started with Scream. But it's perfectly harmless. First of all, Jackie Chan is still amazing, and his return as Mr. Han from the 2010 reboot. He's still great. He still plays the character exactly how he played him 10 plus years ago, and he's still great. I mean, it is Jackie Chan. It's hard not to like him, and it's hard for him not to deliver a good performance, even in bad movies. Some of the story ideas are genuinely interesting, especially the side plot with the boxer. That was the one part of the movie I actually really liked. I liked the story they were setting up with the new Karate Kid, helping out this boxer to win a match to help save his pizza shop. I like that idea, and I think that they did execute that part of the story really well. It was the one part of the movie I was actually invested in. Lee himself is a solid protagonist, and the actor Ben Wong, I'm going to say Wong because I feel like the other word is mispronunciation. in his first ever role, does a good job of what he's given. Like, I didn't hate Lee. He was fine. Like, he was a good protagonist. I liked him. I understood his whole struggle and what he was dealing with. Not to mention having PTSD over the death of his own brother. So, you know what? Kind of understandable, the way that he acts and the way he does what he does. And the actor himself, he's good. I can see this guy becoming a big name if he gets in more projects in the future. He did a good job. Like, yes, this movie's not good, but don't let that blind the fact that this is a good new actor. I did like Ben Wong. He did very good in his role as the lead protagonist. On rare occasion, it can be funny, especially when Daniel and Han go back and forth. Yeah, it's not exactly a spoiler that Daniel LaRusso's in this movie. I have problems with that, and I'm going to get to it, but when he and Han have their back and forth as they're trying to train Lee, as the trailer is spoiled the hell out of, it is pretty funny. They do have a pretty funny back and forth in the way that they try to teach Lee both Kung Fu and Miyagi-Do karate is genuinely funny. Like, that whole back and forth, one of the best parts of the movie. The surprise cameo at the end was the best part of the movie. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just going to say, if you've seen Cobra Kai, you'll recognize who it is. And it is the one genuinely hilarious moment in the movie outside of Daniel and Han's back and forth. And the runtime is refreshingly shorter than most, making it a pretty easy sit. I think this one's like barely 2 hours, if that, so considering most movies nowadays are pushing 3 to 4 hours, that is very refreshing. So it's a pretty easy sit, it's by no means painful, and unlike Next Karate Kid, it doesn't feel like it drags on for an eternity. However, like I said, it's not a good movie. There are a lot of problems. Such as the fights are some of the weakest in the franchise. Like, the alley fight, that one's fine, but the main tournament, they tried to switch it up a little, and I give them credit. They tried to go for more like a street brawl kind of thing. But it just didn't work. It didn't have enough development, and so much of the other fights have such really just lame choreography. Which, for this franchise, is unacceptable, especially considering Cobra Kai exists. Ralph Macchio is here for nothing more than a paycheck, as he pretty much does absolutely nothing the entire time. Now, to be fair, he is in the movie a lot more than I expected. Like, he comes in on that training scene, and he pretty much stays throughout the rest of the movie, but he pretty much does nothing. Like, he has one scene where he helps Han defend Lee against some people trying to cheat in the tournament, but that's about it. Besides that, it's just him doing his usual Daniel LaRusso stick of praising Miyagi and all this other stuff that he's already done 1,000 times over. And he did way better in freaking Cobra Kai, so I mean, he's just here for marketing, and so they can call it Legends by having 2 legacy characters in one movie together. Now, like I said, I like the back and forth between Han and Daniel as they try to teach Lee both different forms of Kung Fu and Karate, but you could have left him out and you would have had the same movie. He's in here for a paycheck and pretty much nothing else. Connor is a garbage antagonist with no character. I hated this guy. He's just your usual stereotypical meathead douchebag. And unlike Johnny, he does not get any kind of redemption. He's just a piece of crap throughout the entire movie, until the very end where they have one scene that is extremely forced and makes no sense. The writing is terrible. This movie's writing is one of the things that irks me about it a lot. Like, sure, I was entertained by it, but this writing was just so half-assed and lazy a grand majority of the time. The dialogue is beyond cliche. Like, they say every single word that you expect them to say in a Karate Kid movie, or just these underdog movie stories in general. It's just so cliche and so overdone. It's the exact thing that you think that it is. The story is a rip-off of the previous movies. Like, it pretty much just takes all the elements of those other films, excluding Next Karate Kid, because thank God that piece of shite is not canon, and just did them all worse. The new characters besides Lee and the Boxer all suck. That goes for the love interest too. She is so So boring. Leading to the romance falling flat because Wong and this other actress have no chemistry. All those interesting ideas flop in execution. Like, all those interesting ideas they were building up all throughout this movie are either destroyed by execution or just immediately thrown away by the execution. It is so, so frustrating. The pacing is way too inconsistent, which is not helped by the very choppy editing. Like, I can't believe I even had this kind of complaint of Karate Kid movie, but the editing in this movie, it's so choppy, it's so lazy, and it feels so half-cooked. And the rewatchability is low. I cannot see myself rewatching this again, but, I mean, at least it wasn't torture like Karate Kid 3 and 4, so I guess I gotta count for small blessings. So, in conclusion, it is far better than 3 and 4, but that's a pretty low bar. Karate Kid Legends is a rushed cash grab by corporate to capitalize on the success of Cobra Kai, but does have some genuine effort put in by the passionate legacy actors and the newcomer that make it at least watchable. It's a mixed bag, and I can't understand both sides of the fence. But personally, I'm still glad that I saw it in a theater, because it was a really cool experience to watch it with the handful of Karate Kid fans that were there. Not to mention that the kids had fun too. There were multiple times in the movie where the kids laughed behind me. So it's not like it's going to be unanimously hated. Like, there are people that are going to enjoy this movie, and kids will be satisfied with it enough. Just don't expect anything amazing, that's all I'm saying. If you're curious, give it a try. If you end up liking it, that's a cool thing, and I won't stand in the way of that. This is simply my own subjective, personal opinion. It's a perfectly watchable movie. It's not for me, but I've seen far worse. I've seen far worse from this franchise, and I've seen far worse movies. So, yeah, like, if I had to choose between suffering through Next Karate Kid again or suffering through this, I'd pick this. Because unlike 3 and 4, it's at least watchable. And because of that, I'm going to give it a slight bump than most people do, because my final verdict for Karate Kid Legends is going to be a 4 out of 10. It's perfectly watchable, but it's not for me. I've seen worse. It's pointless, but overall harmless. So, yeah, it is a bit of a weak ending for this Karate Kid marathon, but honestly, it's far from the worst. I've seen far worse things than this. Again, Karate Kid 4 exists, but this is still not a very good movie. It's an obvious rush cash grab by corporate to try and capitalize on the franchise's revitalization that was brought on because of the massive success of Cobra Kai, which of course resulted in this and Cobra Kai Season 6 being filmed at the same time, which led to Cobra Kai 6 ending up being rushed. Which, I hate Sony for that. I legit hate them for that. Because if they just took their time, didn't do what they do when they become greedy and rush out another project, this could have been something really cool. And you could have had a great final season of Cobra Kai, and also a genuinely fun, interesting little legacy movie. But instead, because they got greedy and they do what they do best and screw everything to high hell, they rushed Cobra Kai and threw this out of their own corporate stinky asses. So, yeah, not a terrible movie, but not a good one either. So, it's still a pretty weak ending. Will we see this franchise again? It depends on how this one does financially. If it does well, because of who's attached to it, maybe it will be able to keep going, but honestly, I think it's about time this franchise takes another break. Because you had the ending of Cobra Kai, which the ending of Cobra Kai is amazing. Like, I have my problems with Season 6 and how it's split into 3 parts, but I legit love the ending of Cobra Kai. And this doesn't really leave the door open to much of anything, aside from one surprise cameo at the end that's more just showing what was already shown from the development of Cobra Kai. So, I don't know. But that's going to do it for the Karate Kid franchise. That's going to do it for Kah-Rah-Tay May. 2 weeks late, I'm sorry. But we're finally done with this franchise. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And if you're wondering how it all stack up together, including all 6 seasons of Cobra Kai, it would look something like this, with Cobra Kai Season 5 and Karate Kid 2 at the very top. Well, the original Karate Kid at the top, sorry. And then you'd have 2 and onward and onward. And obviously, Karate Kid 4 is on the bottom because it is an unwatchable pile of dog shit. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of all these Karate Kid movies. And while some of these did suck, I am glad that I got to revisit the original and see how it held up. I'm glad I got to watch the sequel for the first time, which was actually pretty good. And I'm very, very glad that I finally got to watch Cobra Kai in its entirety. It's a genuinely great show, even with its low points. So, yeah. Overall, it was a decent marathon. I had a good time, and even through the bad entries, well, at least I got to have fun ripping them apart. So, yep, that's all I got. And until the next review, I'm Jack Small, this is Animation Station, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Hi. สาธิตโกว่าทางสาเปอร์เฮ